Thanks, Halu. I feel like a pinch hitter for the Indian cricket team. So basically, I need to basically rectify the slow run rate. So I promise I'll take about 20 minutes. While my presentation comes up, in terms of at our company, we say we get power 24 by 7. Don't jump at me. I'm saying 24 hours in 7 days. I think today is a perfect day to talk about mid-market because it is a subject that we are absolutely in love with it. And to prove a point, I have a red tie and a red lanyard as well. In terms of mid-market, is it a trail of opportunities or is it a trial of opportunities? We've heard about several topics this morning, talking about transformation, innovation, and stuff like that. And in terms of most of it, while they are relevant for the mid-market, I saw it purely from a perspective of the relevance from a large enterprise market. So I'm not going to talk about majority of those aspects. Before I go ahead, let's understand in terms of what is mid-market. There's no standard definition about mid-market. If you ask two different analysts, they can debate till the cows come home as to what is a mid-market and stuff like that. If you see, they generally classify it basis revenues, basis total number of employees, and some guys do it on computers as well. So as per the analyst community, in terms of mid-market, it comprises of two segments. One is the small enterprise and the other one is the medium enterprise. Anything below $1 billion of revenues gets classified as a mid-market. In terms of number of employees, 1,000 and below 1,000. And in terms of computers, below 1,000 computers. Whereas in Quattro, we are practitioners of mid-market. We've been doing this from the year 2006 onwards. We classify mid-market as $20 to $200 million in terms of, under $20 million is a small enterprise and under $200 million is a mid-market company. So in terms of, the next question is mid-market important? If you look at the global economy, 97% of the business is driven by the mid-market companies. The fact that we say that it is Fortune 500, we don't say Fortune 10,000, and we say Global 1,000. So what's about the market beyond 500 and the 1,000 companies? That's where the mid-market comes into the picture. And in terms of, it's not just confined to India. Any economy you take Brazil, you take Russia, you take China, you take Singapore, or for that matter, you take US. 97% of the economy is driven by mid-market. And this particular market has, forget about offshoring, has not even looked at outsourcing. So from that perspective, there's a huge potential in the mid-market space. To put some numbers, basically, when we talk about an opportunity, all of us ask how big is the opportunity. So basically, to answer that question, if you put the numbers in terms of, I've taken US as a case study. We are in BPO, and though we are Indians, we get Americanized. So I've also taken US as a case study. In terms of the US GDP, if you see, it's about $15 trillion. And 51% of that comes from the mid-market. So it's about $7.6 trillion, and benchmarks suggest that these mid-market companies spend about 2% on their outsourcing spends. So from that perspective, if you see, there's a market which is trying to be addressed, and that market is $153 billion. And if you put the current size of our ITES revenues, they're just about $16 billion. So mid-market gives you an opportunity to grow by 10x. We're not talking about small numbers, we're talking about big numbers out here. So let's see in terms of what is NASSCOM saying. The Vision 2020 study of NASSCOM, which was co-written by McKinsey, and if you look at that particular study, they're talking about 80% of growth will come from markets that are not core today. And 80% of the growth will come from the segments that are not the focus today. So what those segments are? The segments are the new customer segments in terms of SMBs and outsourcing in the BRIC countries. We spoke about outsourcing in US, we spoke about delivery in India, delivery of in Philippines, but a lot is happening in South America, especially Brazil and related countries. And a lot is expected to happen in China when they crack the puzzle in terms of speaking English in a perfect manner. So from that perspective, growth drivers will be new verticals, growth drivers will be SMBs, and growth drivers will be the brick markets. So now comes in terms of, so mid-market now becomes a holy grail, right? Most of the people will start looking at mid-market. But in terms of what is the fundamental difference between the mid-market and the large market? A large market is a market of dozens of millions, whereas a mid-market is a market of millions of dozens. So it's a completely, different paradigm altogether. So from that perspective, you need to look at approaches that are different from the approaches that industry has adopted till date. So there's a lot of things that we need to unlearn and a lot of things that we need to relearn to capture this particular market. And in terms of the tail is, in terms of this particular picture, if some of you who are beer lovers, it is an inverted beer glass with a froth head at the bottom, right? And then in terms of the tail represents the majority of the companies. And to service that particular tail, you need to think, you need to rethink, you need to innovate, and you need to re-innovate. I'll present some of those aspects. And I say that purely by virtue of practice at Quattro and not from a theory perspective. So let's see in terms of how mid-market, what is mid-market and what is not as mid-market. Mid-market is not about cost reduction, right? We spoke about in the morning in terms of when the SOWs come for a renewal or MSAs come for renewal, people ask about cost reduction. Mid-market is not about cost reduction. Mid-market is not lift and shift or your mess for less. That's how this particular industry, you may like it or not like it, that's how this industry began, because we played on in terms of a currency arbitrage, and we played on a labor arbitrage. And we said, hey, give you a mess, I'll do it for less at my place. That's got so ingrained into our DNA. And in terms of, it's not FTE-based pricing. It's not just about fixing and process improvements. It's not just about upfront investments in technology. It is not about being fascinated by the brands. Okay, so what is this mid-market? Is it so difficult to understand what mid-market is? So let me demystify some of those aspects for you. It's about revenue enhancement. You go to a mid-market, the CEO, the COO, the CFO, everybody else is thinking about how can I grow? That is their biggest challenge. And then if you go with a proposition saying, hey buddy, I'll help you grow, then you will get the traction. So it is about it's about revenue enhancement. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying cost is not important, but cost is subordinate to revenue because the focus is on revenue. And then it's based on platform-based processing in terms of, when you go to a mid-market company, when you talk about technology, they ask what technology? I don't have any technology, and I don't have money to invest in that particular technology. So it's about platform-based processing. And it's transaction-based pricing. We're not talking about FTE-based pricing. The biggest challenge in mid-market and biggest challenge in the large enterprise market also, you will not get optimal utilization of your headcount for a particular process. Today, many service providers are fighting the challenge of availability, which is the avail time of agents. That's because in the large enterprise market, it's a blasphemy to talk about utilizing your resource across a different client. When you talk to these clients, they say, where are your Chinese walls? How is my IP protected? And then, I don't care, but I don't want to use my resource for any other client. Whereas a mid-market guy doesn't bother. If you give him a fractional engagement of an employee, he's more happy. At Quattro, one FTE caters to about 20 clients today. And that is what the mid-market requires. And it's about domain expertise and technology. It is not about upfront costs, it is not about annual spends, but it is about the total cost of ownership. When Nausur brought about this topic of business process management, according to me, business process management is an end-to-end management where the emphasis is on total cost of ownership rather than cost over a finite period of time. That is why the industry is focusing on BPM and not on BPO. And it's about buying from trusted sources. So, my friend buys it from this particular source, so I will also buy from that particular source. It doesn't matter whether it's a Levi's or whether it's a Pepsi. It's about joint buying. It is about buying based on references, buying based on trust. So from that perspective, the product offering and service delivery for the mid-market needs to be completely different from the large enterprise market. So how do we service these requirements? A lot of people in the morning talked about cloud architecture and stuff like that. When you go about cloud and speak to a CIO in a large enterprise, the guy is very, very paranoid about the data. Actually, it is quite ironical. The same CIO is today using Facebook and Google Chat and a Gmail to transfer information pertaining to his personal information, which is all on the cloud. But when it comes to an organizational context, the person is paranoid about using the cloud. So there are various limitations. There are private clouds and stuff like that. But in terms of mid-market, it really doesn't matter as long as you give open, capable, and affordable cloud-based architecture, cloud-based offering. And then transaction pricing, as I said, it is about outcome-based pricing. It's based on a financial statement processed. It is based on a tax filed, or it is based on a technology incident that is troubleshooted and stuff like that. And multiple product service offerings, because when you go to a mid-market, they need accounting, they need technology, they need a virtual assistant, they need managed travel services. So basically you're bringing in a bundle of services and lock in the person with a bundle of those services, because if you don't do it, that share of the wallet of the customer is going to somebody else. And in terms of total pre-packaged solutions, so if you have all these elements, then we have the jigsaw together, and then we have a complete set of offering for the mid-market companies. We've covered most of these aspects, so I wouldn't go into the details of this particular slide, but it basically says buying from trusted sources and total cost of ownership is important rather than anything else. So, little bit of, this is not a sales pitch for Quattro. This is, please view it from a case study perspective, because today a lot of people talk about mid-market and platform-based services. I may sound arrogant, but the reality is there is no game in the town today that provides platform-based services from an offshore location, that is an offshore location in India. And if you see, our client base comprises of 16,000 clients, and none of them do not visit us, unlike the large enterprise market, because if they visit us, the one flight ticket will wipe away their savings. So we don't meet our customers at all, but we deliver services to them in and out. And of course, our sales guys would have met them once or twice. And in addition to that, we also have 500,000 retail customers, which is in the B2C context, where we provide retail technical support to those individual customers. So how do we do it? As I said, it is a bouquet of services to the SMBs, wherein you take not one service, but you take multiple services to the SMBs, and then you basically contribute to the EBITDA levels. At this point, I'm tempted to tell you guys about an incident wherein when our chairman Raman went and visited a mid-market guy, we usually give him all the background about that company. They were listed about $50 million. And then their stock price was going up. And when he went and asked them, hey, what's happening? Why is your stock price going up? He said, you don't know. Then our chairman said, yes, I don't know. You are happening. Because of all the cost savings that you guys are bringing to the table, it is showing up at our EBITDA level. Whereas in a large enterprise market, it doesn't show up because their cost base is so significant. And as a result of which, he said, you are happening and you have the secret sauce. And guys, you know, you can use it for others as well. So from that perspective, the engagement model is completely different. If I tell some of my respected companies from the large enterprise market saying that I will not see the client for the next 2 years, I'll be out of the job the moment I say that. And then in terms of, we do it not with one platform, but we do it with multiple platforms. And a fascinating example is that of SAP. Today we offer CFO in a box to companies in USA, wherein we have multi-tenanted the platform and we have onboarded a lot of people on that particular platform. And in the morning somebody talked about non-linearity in revenues. Non-linearity in revenues comes from these aspects in terms of platform multi-tenancy and also from a perspective of using your resource across multiple clients. So that's what we do in terms of platform multi-tenancy, skill-based service delivery, multi-client resource sharing, and right-shore delivery. So key takeaways: revenue enhancement, not cost reduction. In terms of cloud-based offering, outcome or transaction-based pricing, multiple templated service offerings, off-the-shelf service offerings, and most important is utilization of the same resource across multiple clients. And also in the morning somebody talked about industrialization and the assembly line. What we do exactly is an assembly line. So as far as the employee is concerned, it doesn't matter whether the employee is working on client A process or a client B process. As far as he or she is concerned, in terms of they need to meet the SLAs regardless of who the customer is, and they need to bring in an improvement in terms of the delivery. So from that perspective, based on what we have seen, I think we can reasonably conclude that mid-market is a trail of opportunities and not a trial of opportunities. Of course, go-to-market in the mid-market is pretty difficult. You can't be meeting 20,000 employees on a door-to-door basis, 20,000 clients on a door-to-door basis and sell them. You need to figure out some other models of selling. So selling over the web or selling through the channel partners, selling through the aggregators and stuff like that, which we have been doing over a period of time. We've been doing this for the last 5 to 6 years. Have we cracked the code? I would say we have not yet cracked the code, but we'll get there pretty soon. That's about it as far as my session is concerned. Any question and answers that you have, I'm happy to take it. But in terms of keeping in consideration the time and giving the respect to the last speaker, I'll take the questions outside the room and not in the room. Thank you very much.